This is the video box that I'm in and that you're looking at right now. This is where the teacher will share their screen and show you what to do. When the teacher is showing you how to do something, you should make this video box go into full screen by clicking on the full screen icon here. Try it now and this video should get bigger and cover your whole screen. When the lesson starts, you will see all the steps for the lesson appear here. These are the steps you need to follow to create the project, and the teacher will guide you through each of these step by step. Though if you wish to go ahead and follow them yourself, that's no problem. You will normally be working with two tabs, one tab for the instructions and one tab for creating the code and your project. When you have completed a step, come back to the Instructions tab and click on this green Done button. You get an award and learning points for each step you complete. Under the video box, you will see what step the teacher is currently on. Under that, you will see the chat feed. The chat feed shows you how everyone is doing, and you can put your own entries into it by clicking on the blue chat button and entering your question or message. Or you can give a quick thumbs up or down, or even put in emojis by using the green React button. After the teacher has shown you how to do a step, click on the Exit Full Screen button to make the video go back small. Try it now. Okay, that's it for the instructions. We can't wait to see what you create. And remember, you can always come up with your own ideas and add them into your project. If you do want to share your project and your own ideas, you can do that using the purple button at the bottom of the lesson. We often show the best ones at the start of the next class. Okay, today's lesson is going to start in a few minutes, so strap in and get ready to code. Hey everyone, we'll be starting the live lesson shortly, but before we do, let's go over a few instructions on how live lessons work and how you can join in. First of all, let's talk about the teacher's video box. This is the video box that I'm in and that you're looking at right now. This is where the teacher will share their screen and show you what to do. When the teacher is showing you how to do something, you should make this video box go into full screen by clicking on the full screen icon here. Try it now and this video should get bigger and cover your whole screen. When the lesson starts, you will see all the steps for the lesson appear here. These are the steps you need to follow to create the project, and the teacher will guide you through each of these step by step. Though if you wish to go ahead and follow them yourself, that's no problem. You will normally be working with two tabs, one tab for the instructions and one tab for creating the code and your project. When you have completed a step, come back to the Instructions tab and click on this green Done button. You get an award and learning points for each step you complete. Under the video box, you will see what step the teacher is currently on. Under that, you will see the chat feed. The chat feed shows you how everyone is doing, and you can put your own entries into it by clicking on the blue chat button and entering your question or message. Or you can give a quick thumbs up or down, or even put in emojis by using the green React button. After the teacher has shown you how to do a step, click on the Exit Full Screen button to make the video go back small. Try it now. Okay, that's it for the instructions. We can't wait to see what you create. And remember, you can always come up with your own ideas and add them into your project. If you do want to share your project and your own ideas, you can do that using the purple button at the bottom of the lesson. We often show the best ones at the start of the next class. Okay, today's lesson is going to start in a few minutes, so strap in and get ready to code. Hey everyone, we'll be starting the live lesson shortly, but before we do, let's go over a few
Hi everybody, my name is Kieran and I'm going to be doing today's live lesson on Coding Ireland. I know last week we had Alan with us, but today I'm going to be taking over. It's my first time doing this, guys. Can you all just give me a thumbs up in the chat feed? I know maybe some people on here are new to this as well. Our chat feed is just underneath this lesson box where you can see me. Hopefully you can see me. And you should, underneath that video, see the live lesson feed. In this chat, you can put a thumbs up, you can write a little message, and you should be able to have a bit of crack for this lesson. So I'm seeing a few people put thumbs up here. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. So a good few people on today, exciting to see. Really excited to get into today's lesson. It's probably a good few people's first lesson, which is exciting. I wonder how much coding people have done before. And that's actually going to be my first question, guys, today. How much coding have you done before? Now, your coding might have been in school. Maybe you had a club. Maybe you've done live lessons with us before. But I want to know, what kind of coding have you done before? Have you used any programs like Scratch or Micros, Bits, or MakeCode Arcade? Or have you done Bbots in school? So again, a few comments in there. We have Ice Dice, he says he's brand new, which is great. Great to see you getting involved. Spins says they've done Scratch in school. Scratch is great. We're actually going to be using Scratch today for today's lesson. So great to get a little bit in beforehand. And the rest of us, maybe a few other people who are brand new, which is great. Today, we're going to be using a website called Scratch, which we think is one of the best websites for coding. It makes it really, really easy to get started. By the end of today's lesson, you guys are going to have a whole project, a whole game that you've made yourself, that what you can go off and play, and you can make little changes, you can make improvements, and you can work away on after today's lesson. I'm looking forward to seeing what we come up with at the end. Aviv Business says he's lost his microbit. That is a tragedy, Business. I'm devastated to hear that. We should be able to get you back set up with your microbit. Don't worry. Today's lesson, guys, is called Frog Frenzy. So as you can imagine, we are going to be dealing with frogs today. We are going to be dealing with animals. And we chose Frog Frenzy because we thought the name sounded good, I'll be honest. If we're going to have kangaroos in the game, we could have called it Kangaroo Crash or something like that. We just wanted it to sound good. So I don't know if you've done this before, guys. Some people have and some people haven't. So I'm just going to give you a little quick brief about how this works. I'm going to show you the instructions on my screen. I'll give you a quick demonstration, and then you guys are going to copy on your own devices. Now, some of you might be on a laptop, some of you might be on tablets. It doesn't matter which you're on, as long as you follow along, you should be okay. There might just be a little bit of difference in terms of flipping between tabs on your device, but it should be okay. So introduction, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the game. This is a quick example of what our game is going to be at the end. We're going to have a frog appearing on our screen, and our job is going to be to click on him to squash him, I suppose. And we have a little scoreboard up here. So that's our game. It's not as complicated as it looks. If you've never coded before, don't worry. By the end of today's lesson, you're going to have a game that looks exactly like this. So we should be excited there. And some of us will even be able to go on and make improvements and make it even better. So looking forward to seeing what you guys can come up with. We'll have a bit of a game share at the end. So I will sorry guys, I'll just make sure everyone can see those instructions. I'll pop along here, show steps. So everyone should be able to see the instructions now. Can everyone just double check that you can see the instructions? Can you give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can't, give me a red thumbs down, and I'll know I have to make some changes. D-Ball can see the instructions. Mewy can see the instructions. Coder Rocket can see the instructions. You should be all good. If you can't see the instructions, it might be worth refreshing the page. Moonboy, you can't see the instructions. Moonboy, if you would try refreshing the page, that would be this little button up here if you're working on a laptop. And if you're working on a tablet, it might be a thing of pulling down the screen to make it refresh. If you do that, you might be able to just get the instructions on your screen. Will you just double try that for me now? Open the lesson up. Moonboy, have we any improvement? Are you back up with the rest of us? Do you have the instructions? I'll have to wait to see if Momo is there. So guys, the first thing we're going to have to do is create a new Scratch project. So if you've never created a Scratch project, what I'm going to need you to do is open up a new tab on your laptop. So go to a fresh page. Don't close down this one, because then you won't be able to get it. Business is quite laggy. Okay, we'll have to see if I can improve my internet there. The thing we're going to have to do is open up a new tab and open up the Scratch website. So if you go to Google or whatever your browser is and type in Scratch, you should get to a page that looks like this. It's not scratch.emit. It is .MIT. So it'll come up as scratch.mit.edu. And if you want to go straight from the Coding Ireland website, you might have a little bit of a shortcut, which will come from clicking on the instructions. If you click how to create a new project, you should be able to click this link down here, and that should open it up. So this is what our Scratch website looks like when you open it up. And it's great if you want to have an explore about that after the lesson. That's great. That'd be fantastic. Some of you might have an account. Some of you won't. It doesn't matter. You don't need to set one up right now. We can jump right into the lesson. So first thing I want you to do is click on this Create button right up next to where it says Scratch up the top of the page. There's a button that says Create. If everyone can click that, we can jump straight into a project. So your project is just setting up in the background here. And when you have completed this step, you can close that over. You should have a little cat in my window. Scratch the cat. What you can do after you've completed this step is say you've done step 1 or step 2 even. You've completed step 2. So if you mark your steps complete, I can keep track of how far you've gone on your project. Business, can you see the, is it the instructions you can't see? Or is it my screen? I see a few people are kind of working away there. Business, if you can get back to me. The first thing we're going to have to do, guys, when we scroll down to our next instruction, is add the forest backdrop. Basically, we need to set the scene for our game. It's very boring if you have a game with a white background. We need to make it a little bit more interesting. So how we do this, guys, there's a little window here where it says choose a backdrop. We're going to click into here, and this is a big library. Now you can have a look up and down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the place where a frog might live. I'm going to pick the forest background. I think that's more likely. The frog is more likely to be in the forest than the desert. But that's for my game anyway. I'm going to pick the forest because I like it to be realistic. And I actually see this cat, guys. We're not going to be dealing with this cat in this lesson. He's not going to be a part of my game. So I'm going to delete him. I'm going to click delete on his sprite. Okay. So I just have an empty project with my lovely forest background. Guys, I'm going to give you a few minutes just to catch up there. I'm going to click done. And can everyone just give me a thumbs up to make sure you've gotten to that step? And I tell you what, we're going to do a game. I think a few people have figured out the chat feature of the feed. So I'm going to play a game called Fastest Finger. This game, I'm going to give you a question. I want to see who can answer it the quickest. So in the chat, I want you to answer a few questions, okay? The first question. Who can type? And this one's an easy. This is just more of a challenge than a question. Who can be the quickest person to type jump and send it into our chat? Jump, Andre. Andre, first one. Fastest finger. Mew East, shortly after business. Now we're all coming in. But fastest one was Andre. Andre was on the ball. Andre was ready. Now you're all hopping into it. I'm going to give you another one. Who can type Mario into the chat? We've all seen the Mario movie, I'd imagine at this stage. Who can type Mario into the chat? Mewy. First one I saw. First one up on my screen. Anyway, on the rest of them pile up on top. Mewy, you won my race. Anyway. Okay, here's going to be a question, a quiz question. And it's a hard one. I'm not going easy. We're step 3. We're ready to go. What is the name of the green dinosaur that helps Mario? So the green dinosaur that works with Mario. He's in a lot of Mario games. He jumps very high. It's like a frog. Can't anyone think of his name? He's in Mario Kart. I don't think he was in the Mario movie. He's not Bowser. It was, and I'm getting 2 spellings. There must be 2 types of spellings for it. Yoshi. Well done to D-Ball, to Andre, who's very quick on off there. Stargirl, now you know. If you get asked again, that's your answer. We're going to move on, guys. I think everyone is caught up with that instruction. So we've all got a blank Scratch project with our forest background. The next step is to add the frog sprite. So if you want to open up my screen, I'm going to show you how to do this. And then I'll let you go ahead with it. So if you want to look at me, I'm going to open up my Scratch. And I need to add a character. To add characters, there's a little button down here that looks like a cat. I'm going to just click on that button, and it'll bring me to the Scratch character library, or they call them sprites instead of characters. So I need to scroll down. I can scroll down all the way, or if you want, you can click on the categories. So I know I'm looking for an animal. I'm looking for a frog. There he is. I'm going to click him, and it might take a second, but he'll appear in my game, and I'll be able to place him around my screen. So can you guys now go to your own projects and add your frog? Make sure you click complete that step. You want to get credit for your work. Well done, Stargirl. Keeping up. Well done. Well done, Ice Dice. Flying it. Andre as well. D-Ball as well. We're on the ball today, guys. No messing about. Stargirl named her frog Froggy. However, did you think of that name, Stargirl? Business, you have a quiz question. You told this to Alan. What is the original name for Minecraft? Don't help him. You're asking me. What is the original name for Minecraft? Was it Craft Mine? Maybe. Or Digman. Something like that. What's the guy in Minecraft's name? Is he Steve? Is it Bob or Jim, or what's the Minecraft man's name? I give up, business. Go on, enlighten me. Put me out of my misery. Cave Game. Spine says Cave Game. Steve and Steve. It was Steve. Steve is the Minecraft man. It couldn't be Cave Game. I'm going to have to assume it's Cave Game. I think Minecraft is maybe a bit catchier. I think I'm going to have to stick with Minecraft. Guys, now I'm going to show you how to add code to your Scratch project. So it might be helpful to open up or to make my video screen a little bit bigger on your screen. I'm going to give you a bit of a walkthrough, a bit of an example. After that, you can work away on the next step, because this is where people tend to make mistakes if they are starting off on Scratch. So if you watch me now, you should be able to get there, no problem. So our next step is making the frog disappear. Essentially, we want our frog to not be on the screen. We want him to hide. So like with a lot of Scratch projects, you have to tell the project when to start. And how we're going to do this is on the left-hand side of the screen, we have the different categories of code. And this is in events. Our first one is going to be when green flag is clicked. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it down and bring it to the platform. So this is telling my frog to do something when this green flag is clicked. That's like the start of the project when we see green flags. And when the green flag is clicked, we want our character to hide. So this is in looks because it's to do with how he looks. We're going to go in look and hide. It's a little bit further down. You just click on it, you bring it here. And now if I click on my green flag, my frog disappears. It's like magic, guys. If you can do that, go back to your Coding Ireland page and just make sure you've clicked to complete that step. Business, it confirms it is Cave Game. I see a few people are moving on. Just for those people who are moving on, I have a few more questions for you. I want to keep you busy. My question is, and again, fastest finger, I'm seeing a lot of people writing the answer second, third, fourth, and I can't tell if they're copying the first person. What kind of animal is Sonic? Sonic the Hedgehog. Oh my goodness. I even said it. He's so iconic that I couldn't help myself. He's so big in the movies. I wonder, would anyone have got that? I'd say you would have got that if I hadn't gave away the keys. But have we all made the frog disappear, guys? Are we still working on that? Can you give me a thumbs up? I think there's a few people maybe still waiting on. If you need a hand with anything, guys, make sure you can react in that chat. I can see if you put a red thumbs down. I'll be able to help you out if you're having trouble. And make sure you click the green flag at the end of it, or else it won't start the instructions. I think we're quite. Oh, I think my feed's a little bit behind here, guys. Hedgehog. Oh, yeah, no, a few people did get the hedgehog answer. Well done, guys. Okay, guys, gonna move up to the next, which is make the frog reappear. Okay, so if you want to watch my screen for this can be a little bit tricky, so it might be worth having a look at my screen for this one. So what we want to do is we want to tell the frog at different times to jump around the screen. And how we're going to do this is we're going to have to start a loop. So I'm going to go into control, which is one of our categories along the left-hand side of the screen. I'm going to pick forever because I want this game to go on forever and ever. So once that in, it joins up like a jigsaw puzzle. It just goes right underneath hide. Once you have that clicked up, we can put other blocks inside of it. And we can add the code that we want to repeat forever. So inside that, we're still in control. We can pull it, wait 1 second. You pull that in. We can put go to random position, which is in motion. I'm going to pull that and just stick him underneath. And then the last thing we want is for our frog to reappear. We want him to jump out and jump on a different part of the screen. So if you look at this, now that I've added my code, I can click my green flag. And every 1 second, the frog will jump around the screen to a random location. The computer will tell it to jump somewhere else on the screen. So if you guys can have your frog jumping around the screen, you're doing great. And make sure again that you're clicking your done steps. You're doing brilliant, guys. Well done. And my next question for fastest finger, I'll try not to give away the answer this time, is what color is Luigi's hat? For anyone who's finished up, what color is Luigi's hat? Spines, it's Luigi's hat's not red. Business, Andre, D-Ball, all in there. Obviously big fans of the Mario franchise. Luigi has a green hat, famously. Big tall Luigi wears his green hat. And his brother is probably more famous, gets the red hat. I have a question for you guys. Who do you prefer? You know, I know a lot of people are more fans of Luigi than Mario. Who is the better brother? Is it Mario or is it Luigi? I am neutral. I have no feelings towards this. I think they're both great. Stargirl, have you ever seen Mario or Luigi? They're in a lot of games, a lot of Nintendo games. If you've ever had a device like a Switch, Nintendo Switch, or a Nintendo, what would be the one before that? Was it Nintendo Wii? So a lot of people, we're fairly split. We have a few Luigi fans. We have a few guys for Mario as well. I don't know. Do you know what? I probably will be more of a Luigi fan. Coda Rocket loved the new movie. I loved the new movie too. I thought Bowser was very funny in it. I thought the Peaches song was great. I won't sing it. I won't put you through that, but I thought it was great. The Switch 2, if anyone is interested, anyone see this during the week, the Switch 2 is coming out soon. If anyone's looking to save up their pocket money, it'll be coming out over the next probably 2 years. They normally take their time with these kind of things. I'll move on to the next step, guys. I think everyone has caught up with that. This is that we want, at the minute in our Scratch project, if we press play, the frog jumps around the screen, but he doesn't hide. He just stays on the screen and jumps around. What I want is for the frog in between jumping to each place, we want him to disappear for a bit and then reappear somewhere else. So it's a little bit more of a challenge for us when we're playing our game. So to do this, we have a certain piece of code and it's inside that forever block. So it's still in the loop. And what we're going to add is a wait, which is in control. If you want to open up my screen, I'll show you exactly where to find these. We're going to go into wait 1 second. And then in looks, you go into show. Once you've done that, you can see my frog has been told to hide and it reappear. Here he is down here. He's jumping right at the edge of the screen. Actually, could be waiting a few seconds more. I might extend that to 2 seconds, just so there's a bit more of a gap between when he reappears. There he is. There he is. Oh, sure. No, I have a show. I have a bug in my code. I should have it as hide. There we go. Code, that's debugging, what we call that. We call it when we make a mistake and we have to figure out what's wrong with it. We call that debugging. So right now my frog is doing what I want him to do. He jumps, he disappears, and then reappears somewhere else on the screen. That's going to be really important for our game that we design. So once you've completed that step, guys, I'll give you a few seconds. Once you've done that, make sure you click done. And I can see who's done it. Well done, Ice Dice, flying away. Business, rocking it. Moon Boy, I can see you. I can see you doing really well. Peaches is dying for me to sing. I can't. I couldn't. Your computer screens would smash. Stargirl only watched a movie once. Stargirl, I wonder what it was. If you could only watch one movie, what could it be? Coda Rocket says she wants to know how to remove the frog again. Coda Rocket, if you want to have a look at my video, basically what I did was, this is where we were before. I added a wait 2 seconds block and a hide. So what this tells, if my frog is listening to my instructions, he's reading it down. He says he hides when I first click the frag. He waits 1 second. And he goes to a random position and shows. Then I say, stay showing for 2 seconds, but then hide again. And then if he's reading my instructions properly, he goes back to the start, waits 1 second, reappears and shows, waits 2 seconds and hides. So when you do that, he'll jump around the place. And he disappears, reappears, disappears, reappears. Is that okay, Coda Rocket? I hope that's all good. It's good to get these steps right, guys, because when you've got these steps, and once you've done it for this game, what's really cool about Scratch is you can go off and you can design this game in any other way you want. You can make it not frogs, you can make it stars, you can make it bubbles, you could do whatever you want. We're showing you with a frog because it's a great place to start. But once you've done it with a frog, you can go and do it in lots of different ways as well. And this is building up a great category of skills in your background. So right now, it's great. You know, we have a frog jumping around the screen, but it's not much of a game, is it? It's just a frog jumping around the screen. So our next step is going to be to turn this into a game. We need to add a scoreboard. We need to have some way of adding a score that makes this game a little bit more interesting rather than just watching a video. So our next step is adding the score. So we're going to have to create a score variable for this. Now, this is really important. It's something that people can get stuck on. So if you wouldn't mind focusing on my screen for a few seconds, especially if you haven't used Scratch before, because this will be important in not just this lesson, it'll be important in lots of lessons in the future. So if you want to have a look at my screen, you will. I think you'll be glad you did. What we're going to have to do is click on the variables. Now it's right down the bottom of the left-hand side. So variables. This looks a little bit different than all the other blocks. And what we're going to have to do is click this make a variable on the top. Now when we click it, your screen's going to look like this. You're going to have to say new variable, add a name, and you're going to call it score. Once you've done that, you'll see a little scoreboard jumps up on your top left hand of your screen. And we need to say set my score to 0 at the start of the game. So this is a lot, but just keep an eye, guys. I'm going to say set to 0. And really, really, really important is instead of my variable, there's a little arrow beside it. Have a look. You're going to click that and you're going to scroll down to score. That means when we click the green flag at the start of the game, your score will reset back to 0. So whatever you scored in your previous game will get erased and you'll be back to 0. That can be a little bit tricky, guys. So if anyone does have an issue with that, put in a thumbs down. I can show you again. But for now, give that a go and see how you get on with it, okay? Make sure when you finish that step and it's all looking good, you click done. And I can see who has completed that step. Okay, a few people working away on that. Good job, guys. I know adding a variable can be a little bit different the first time you do it. You know, it's not the easiest part of Scratch, but it is worth it. It makes the games a lot more enjoyable. Well done, Spines. Well done, Jane Coco. Flying it. Going to be experts. Well done, Business. Just want to make sure everyone's up on this because this can be part that people maybe get a little bit confused by. So I wanted to give you an extra little bit of time just to make sure we're all on the same page there. Just while we're waiting, I'll try and give you an extra question. Try not to give away the answer. Can anyone tell me what is the name? And it's probably before all your time. This is probably your parents' time or even maybe before your parents' time. What is the name of the ghost-eating hero in the classic arcade game? What is the hero of a video game, probably an arcade game, that eats ghosts? I think you'll have heard of this character, but maybe you haven't played this game. I think he has a bit of a resurgence. I think he is kind of back. I'll give you a clue. He's yellow. He's circular. Ice Dice knows him. Business knows him. Moonboy knew him. Andre knew him. It is, of course, Pac-Man. I'd be surprised, guys, if you played this game now. This is long before your time. I don't think Pac-Man's still about. Is Pac-Man still around? Does Pac-Man still make appearances? Coder Rocket forgot his name, but she knew him, I'm sure. He knew him. It's a classic game. I don't know. Yeah, you guys couldn't have played it. There's no way. Are we all okay with the score variable, guys? Do you want to give me a thumbs up just to make sure we're all good with that? Man, spines. I think we're okay. Make sure, guys, if there is any point where you run into difficulties, that's what I'm here for. Give me a thumbs down and I will help you as quick as possible. Bees has played it on your uncle's game console. Must have been an old enough one. Stargirl, your thing reset. Was that the Scratch? Did your Scratch reset? Your whole Scratch project? I'd imagine it was. Sometimes, guys, especially if you're using tablets, something about Scratch is if it reloads, if this page, if you click that refresh button and you don't have an account, unfortunately, it does go back to the start of the project. And you will have to catch up. It is an advantage, I suppose, making an account. And it's maybe something that at the end of this lesson, if you haven't done before, you might make a Scratch account. Maybe you'll get your parents to help you make a Scratch account. You do need an email. But when you have that account, it means you can sign in and save your lessons. Otherwise, your lessons won't save, unfortunately. Moon Boy, yeah. No, yeah, she's using the tablet. Yeah, it is a little bit unfortunate there, Stargirl. I'd say it just did refresh. If you want to keep working through the instructions, you might have to go back to the start, but you maybe consider it good practice now. It shouldn't take you too long to catch up. It is just one piece of code or one line of code, so you should be able to get that in. Stargirl, if you want to go back to the start and if you try and catch up with us, whenever you run into our step, if you need help along the way, give me a shout in the chat, okay? So just to jump into the next number 9, the next instruction, Stargirl, if you want to go back to the start, you should catch up quick enough because you've done all the steps before. The next step is the part of the game that actually is playable. So what does the player do in this game? Right now it's great, like the frog jumps around the screen, but nothing you do affects it. Right now, we're going to code the part that the player does. And this is adding this piece of code here. Now, it's really important. So if you want to look at my screen, I'll give you a bit of a demonstration and I'll let you off. So what we're going to say, we're going to talk to the frog. We're going to go to control, or events, sorry. And we're going to pull out a different piece of the puzzle, different starting block. This one is when this sprite is clicked. So when this sprite is clicked. So what this says, when do we click the frog, something else is going to happen. And when we click the frog, what do we want to happen? We want it to give us a point. So I'm going to go to variables and say change my variable by 1. But make sure, guys, it's not my variable. We called it score. So change score by 1. So every time you click the frog, your score will go up by 1. Not only that, we want it to have a little effect. So what we're going to do, we're going to do two things. We're going to add a sound effect. And your sound effect can be whatever you want. But I'm going to pick pop. I'm just going to do a nice simple pop. You can scroll through these, guys, and you can record or you can do whatever you want. For the time being, I think maybe it's just easier to pick pop for now. At the end of the lesson, we'll give you plenty of time to go around, play and make improvements and make adjustments to your project. But for now, maybe just pick pop. And a cool thing, we want to squash the frog. How we squash him is we go to looks. We scroll down a little bit. And we want to change effect. So right now it says change color effect by 25. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change that to pixelate. Pixelate means it'll turn into lots of little squares. And I'm going to not do it by 25. I'm going to do it by 100. So what this means in my project is, when I go into it, when I click the frog, he pops, I splat him. Oh, he's unpixelated. Sorry, I need one more step. Here's a bug. My frog is always pixelated now. I have one more step to do, but it'll be on my next one. It'll be the next instruction. So if you guys want to just add these pieces of code in, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 blocks of code, and when you get done, when you finish that, you can click done in your about different ways to make improvements about games later on. If you want to add any extra features to your game, such as maybe a bonus frog, a different frog, or a different animal, doesn't have to be a frog, that appears on the screen every 10 seconds, and maybe he's worth 5 points. Or maybe the frog moves a little bit quicker as the game goes on. Maybe you have other animals in the game that you're not supposed to click, or something like that. There's no end. Whatever you can think of, I want to see it. I want to see how creative you can get. Well done, Jane Coco. Well done, Spines. Guys, you're doing really well. And you're nearly at the end. You nearly have a whole game. And once you finish one game, you can alter that. You can make loads of games. You're just building up your skills and building up the amount of things you can do, your ability. Every time you do one of these, it's something else you learn. Everyone okay? Andre, you're doing well. Andre, same to you. Can you improve on your project at all? Can you add any extra features? Can you add a bonus golden frog? Saw someone last week added in a golden cherry. So it'll be interesting to see if you do that. Well done, business. Are we all okay for that, guys? Give me a red thumbs down if you're struggling at all. I'll be able to come and help you. That's what I'm here for. I think we all look okay. So I'll go to my next part of my project, which is what I was saying before. Right now, my frog is looking a little bit worse for wear. He unfortunately looks like he's been run over. Same Coder Rocket. Mine looks blurry as well. So we're going to fix that with a bit of code. Right now, we've told him to get blurry, to pixelate him when we splat him. So we're going to add an extra piece of code that'll tell him once he reappears to stop being blurry, to clear all those effects. And it's only one little block we need. It's in Lux. If you want to look at my screen, I can show you where it is. So we go to the Lux category. We'll scroll down a little bit, and you'll see one that says Clear Graphic Effects. When you click that, you can drag it out. We're not going to add it to this side, the when sprites is clicked. We're actually going to add it to this side. So we're going to add it into that forever block. And what that means is every time the frog reappears or jumps somewhere else on the screen, it's going to get rid of that effect, get rid of the pixelation effect. So if we look at it on my project, I click the frog. Oh, he disappears. So he's pixelated, but when he reappears, not. He's back to normal. So he's pixelated now, reappears back to normal. And you can see every time I'm clicking him, my score is up. There you go. I'm having too much fun playing my game. Can you complete that step, guys, and mark it complete in the Coding Ireland browser? Well done. That's step 10. Well done, Stargirl. You're flying it. I can't believe you've caught up that quickly. You've done brilliantly. Business, well done. Waiting on a few. Okay, while we're waiting, guys, I'll get a question out for you. There's loads of good ones. Trying to find maybe more video games for your age. Here's my question. If you could live, and it's not a quiz question, it's more of a general question. If you could live inside of any video game you wanted, any video game at all, but you have to be inside the game, which would you choose and why? So what games would you choose? Coder Rocket, you don't know, but you don't have the score. Moon Boy, love the support. Okay, Coder Rocket, come here. Let's have a look at my screen and I'll show you how to get that score, okay? So inside my game, I went to variables, okay? Do you have that in your project, I wonder? I made a variable, I clicked on this, make a variable, I typed in score. I won't do it again. I typed in score, I set score to 0 at the start. Make sure it says score and not my variable. That's a really easy mistake to make. And make sure here it says change score by 1, not change my variable. Ice Dice, your score is not going up when popped. Can you just double check, Ice Spice Me, that you have it here as change score by 1 and not change my variable? Because I know when I'm in school and I see people coding, that's a really common mistake that people make, is they just forget to do that kind of thing. Very easy mistake to make. Business says Minecraft. Stargirl says Minecraft. I don't know, guys. You'd be so tired working on that Minecraft non-stop. Minecraft's like real life. You have to go and we have to do the hard work. I don't know if I'd fancy it. I don't think it'd be for me now. Business says he hates Fortnite. I don't think I'd pick Fortnite either, Business. I don't think that'd be an easier lifestyle to live. Andre says Minecraft. Minecraft is still so popular, guys. Minecraft came out so long ago. It's so cool that it's still so popular. Coder Rocket, yeah, you have that in the project. Okay, and did you double click your green flag to restart the project to tell it to start listening to it? Spine says Mario Kart. Yeah, that's a game I'd like to play. I'd like to be invited to the Mario Kart races. I think that'd be a really cool event. That'd be a really cool birthday party. Fortnite, because you can play with your friends. Yeah, but they're all, I don't know, Coder Rocket. I think it'd be too risky. You'd have to live with the consequences. Guys, that more or less, I think everyone is, Minecraft is real life, but better. Hey, here, Business, I agree with you. That is essentially our game. So congratulations, you have just created your very own Frog Frenzy game using Scratch. You've learned how to make the sprite appear and disappear at random positions, how to keep score, how to add sound and visual effects. Great job. Remember, you can always make the game more fun by adding more sprites, creating more variables, or even making the frog move faster. Keep experimenting and see what you come up with. I wonder, did anyone else do that? I think there was a few people who were working very quickly. I wonder, did they add any of those options? Did they add more sprites? Did they do more variables? I wonder what they came up with if they did. And did they make the frog go faster? Guys, if you've gotten to the wrap-up step, you can click done. Well done. And here's where you have options, okay? Here's the part that I like at the lesson, because we get to see what people come up with. So we do have a challenge. We have the Frog Frenzy Challenge. Now that you've created your Frog Frenzy game, I want you to make it even more exciting by adding a timer. Your challenge is to create a countdown timer that starts at 30 seconds when the game begins. The game should end when the timer reaches 0, and a message should pop up saying time's up. So it should be as many as you can get in 30 seconds. Now, if you need a hint, you can click on this see a hint option. But if you've used Scratch before and you feel a bit confident, try and do it without doing a hint. Try and do it on your own. And what I'd love to see, guys, is if you finished your project and if you have a Scratch account, maybe some people don't, you might be able to share your project with me. I'm actually not logged into Scratch at the minute. I don't think I can share without logging into a Scratch account. But if you do log in, you should have a little button up here that enables you to share it. What you can do is you can copy that, put it in here, title your project, tell me a little bit about it. And what you can do is copy and paste the Scratch code either in here or into the Coding Ireland feed. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see what people come up with. That's one of my favorite parts of these lessons, is seeing what people come up with at the end. And if you want to take a quiz based on this lesson, keep scrolling down through the instructions. You should see that there on the bottom. I have just going to reload this page because I think I see people who are putting their lessons in. Ice Dice has a project loaded up there. Well done, D-Ball. Finish the wrap up. They should be on 48. Okay. Ice Dice, you wouldn't mind resending that Scratch link, would you? I just can't find it in my feed, and I should be able to have a click in and have a look at it for you. Or if anyone else wants to finish up there. You still don't have the score, Coder Rocket. Coder Rocket, I want you just to double check everything, all right? So there's 2 main areas you need. One is here, underneath the green flag clicked, and one is underneath the sprite clicked. If it says score on both of those, then you're good to go. Make sure it's 0, make sure it's 1. If not, it might be a glitch in Scratch. Scratch is great, but sometimes there is glitches. This is why it's great to have a Scratch account. If you have a Scratch account, you can save the project and refresh it, and sometimes it fixes those issues. It might be definitely worth after this lesson. If people would go off and make Scratch accounts, that'd be brilliant. It would just make all your hard work. It means you could save it and you could look at it again. You could show people tomorrow. You could show your granny next time she comes over. You could show your uncle, your auntie, whoever was over. And I'm sure they'd be really impressed. And they'd all be coming to you every time they have computer issues, which is what happens to me. Ice Dice, let's have a look at this project. I'm really excited. Well done, D-Ball, who has finished the quiz. Got 4 out of 5. That's not bad going. Let's have a look. Okay. Frog Frenzy. Great. Love it. The score is going up. We get pixelated. Ice Dice, fantastic game. Looks perfect. Excellent. Great job, Ice Dice. I wonder, could you add anything to it? Could you add a timer? Could you add different elements? Could you add a different colored frog? Good. Well done, Coder Rocket. Going to make a Scratch account after this. Fantastic. I'd love to see that. Just make sure you have a parent with you if you are, because it does need an email. I know a lot of people wouldn't have emails, naturally enough. Coder Rocket catching up on some steps. Let's have a look. We have another project in from Spines. Let's have a look at this project. Well done, Andre. 4 out of 5. Well done. I don't know if anyone's got 5 out of 5 yet. No. Oh, I have. Looking down at this thing, I see a lot of 4 out of 5s. There must be one hard question in there that's throwing people out. Oh, see, Spines has added a timer to his game. We've got a 10-second timer. That's a really cool idea. I feel under pressure. On the frog says game over. Fantastic. The thing you'd need maybe here is Spines. If you want to have a look at my screen, it's fantastic. I love it. Love the way the frog says game over. You could add one extra piece, and that is the stop all. So if I was you, I would add this at the end after. So say when the 10 seconds has run up, you stop everything, which is here. It's in control. If you scroll down a little bit, it's this stop all piece. Now, when you add that to the end of your timer, let's say you have a separate piece. Let's say, imagine you have the green flag here. Or if anyone's looking at my screen, I'm going to show you how to put a timer onto it. Okay, let's look at what Coding Ireland recommends us to do. They recommend, what's our hint? So we're going to use a new variable called timer, use a repeat block. Okay, yeah, very good. So we're going to make a new variable. like we did with the score, but this one's going to be called timer. Timer's up here. At the start, when we click it, we're going to say set timer to 10. Let's slow down a little bit because I think I'm actually rushing through that. So when the green flag is clicked, set my new variable timer to 10. I'm going to say every 1 second. Where's my wait? I always lose these things. It's in control, I think. Wait 1 second. So every 1 second, I want to change my variable back into variables. Change my variable by, and not 1. I want it to change by -1. It's probably an easier way to do that. This is the way it's jumping out to me. So change my variable by -1. So that means everyone, but I'm going to have to change that to a certain amount of time. I'm going to have to repeat it. So maybe repeat 10 times and then stop all. What'll that do? It'll make the whole game stop. It'll tell all these other pieces of code to stop running. And then I'm going to do the same as Ice Dice did. So I'm going to get my frog to say game over. Game over. So now when I click my game, we've got the timer running. My timer isn't working. It's typical when you got to try these things out. But it's good to see, you know, these things don't always work first time around. So there might be something wrong here. Change my variable by -1 back to the start. Might be an error, for sure we'll see. Some people refreshing the page. I'll have a look at this, guys. If you do finish a lesson and you want to share it in with me, that'd be fantastic. I'd love to see a few more people while I'm working on this. Ice Dice, if you want to add that stop all to your project and maybe add it in. Just while you're doing things like that, I'll show you a few extra cool things. I'm not sure, this isn't working for me at the minute. I can't reload because my project will delete. So for the time being, I might show you a few little extras. I need to put timer by -1, Spine says. Set timer to... Do I not have that, Spines? I have change variable by -1. Oh, I have my variable. There you go. Well done, Spines. You are on the ball. Star pupil. He's watching out. Now my timer's going. Pop. Pop. Where's that frog? 3. Now I got there. My frog says game over. And it stops. The game stops there. Won't reappear anywhere else on the screen. So if anyone else wants to add that to their project, Ice Dice, you got 100. I'm guessing you didn't get that in 10 seconds, Ice Dice. That would be very impressive. But it's really good anyway. Ice Dice, we recommend you might put in one of these kind of timers that might make the game a little bit more challenging for you. And it might be a good idea to, if you're finding it too easy, you can say to your frog to reappear not every 2 seconds, to reappear every 1 second. Or, you know, if you wanted to go into 0.5 seconds, you can make it really hard for yourself. Depends how difficult a game do you want to make. Andre, you send me in one. I'm going to have a look at it here. Really impressed, guys. These are already fantastic projects. So 30-second timer is already going. Andre is not hanging out. Oh, yellow. Oh, I missed them. I'm going to have to wait till the yellow frog reappears. A blue bonus frog. Ah, this is fantastic. What a great idea. The bonus frog. And if anyone's wondering how Andre changed the color, I might go through that with people now. But that is a fantastic project. What a great game. I love the way the two of them appear at the same time. That's really cool. Great job. What I think was happening there was you can change the color of your frog. This might be of interest. If anyone wants to look at my screen, you can have a look at how you can change the color of your frog. And how it's done is, while you're talking to the frog, you go up to costumes. It's right next to your code. So this is where all the code is. Costumes is more about how the character looks. So you get a little bit of the screen like this. If you want to change the color of the whole frog, you've got two options. You can either click the paintbrush and paint around them, but you'll have to be very, very accurate and very slow and very precise. I prefer to use the one that looks like a paint can. It looks like it's fallen over. I'd click that. Then I'd click where it says fill up here. That's where I'm going to choose the color. So if you want a yellow frog, you can move the slider around. You'll see the color changing. I'm going to pick a yellow frog like Andre's one. Then I can click anywhere on the frog and change color. So now I have a yellow frog, which probably not as common in the forest, but nice to have. And you can go back if you have this undo button up here. You can redo all those. If you don't like the color, if you were just trying it on and you didn't like it, you can go back using this undo button. I think that's Andre, how he made the second frog happen. And if you want to, you can duplicate. You can right click and duplicate that frog and change the color of the second one. Guys, well done. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed doing that with you guys today. Really impressed with some of the projects you came up with. You're all more than welcome to finish the challenge in your own time. If you want to keep working on it, we'd love to see what you can come up with. You can still submit your project after this lesson closes down. As long as the window's still open, you can submit your project and it will go up on the website. We'd hope everyone gets around to doing the test if you have a chance. It's just good to practice, to prove that you were listening. And if you want to, you don't have to. But if you want to rank this lesson in the scale from 5 stars to 1 star, what did you think? Do you think it was a 5-star lesson? Did you think it was a 2-star lesson, 3-star lesson, 4-star lesson, whatever you think? And tell me, how difficult did you think it was? Do you think it was too easy? Did you think it was just right, the Goldilocks? Or do you think it was too hard? And you can let us know if you want to type in here, say, Kieran talks too quickly, or Kieran, talks too much. That's also fair enough. And time-wise, do you think you had too much time, just right, or enough? And you can mark that complete as well. We'll have a look at that. But for the minute, guys, thanks very much for tuning in. You guys were fantastic. Thanks for all your engagement. And I'm going to have to get some harder quiz questions for next week because I don't think I kept you guys busy enough. I think I'm going to have to challenge you a little bit more next week. But that was fantastic, guys. Well done. And I'll see you next week for our next live lesson.